Social media influencer tutorial. How to be the best spokesperson brands fight for. Do you want to become a great representative for brands large and small on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok? If your answer is a resounding yes, then watch this video and learn the tips, tricks, and tactics that social media big names have used time and again to draw crowds to their sponsors, products, and services. Understand now how top influencers are able to match authenticity, trustworthiness, and follower loyalty to deliver incredible advertising ROI. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm doing fantastic today. I hope you are doing marvelous. If you're doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about social media influencer and the most important thing you need to do to become the best spokesperson brands are fighting for. Now, the first thing you need to do, you need to select your platforms properly. You need to choose whether you want to be on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, whatever it is, or Pinterest. You have to make sure you're careful because all platforms are not created equal, and some people have talents for one platform versus another. So you got to really understand where your niche is, where your audience, your potential audience is. You have to understand your own strengths and weaknesses when it comes to platforms. You know, each platform has their own characteristics. Twitter is good for certain things, while Facebook is, more beautiful, more interesting for other things. So you got to have a conversation. If you are a team, have a conversation on the channel to focus on and pick the best. Now, you don't have to stick to one. You can have 2 or 3 channels. The whole idea here is not to be on a wide area of platforms, because otherwise you just have energy leaks, what I call energy leaks. In other words, you just spending money and time and resources on 4 or 5 platforms, whereas your potential audience is only on 1 or 2. That's number 1. Number 2, create impeccable content. Now, this is a given, right? A lot of folks know this advice. They know this particular criterion, yet they are not very careful about the products that put the content to put out there, right? You want to create the best content possible. You can outsource things. If you're not good at something, if you're not good at visuals, if you're not good at graphic design, please outsource it. Pay someone to do it for you. The bottom line here is that everything you invest in your business or in your brand, your personal brand, will help increase the quality of your social media influencer brand in the long run. All right, so don't be afraid to invest money, especially if you want to carry these things in the long run. If you want to maybe morph this later on into a business, it is important to outsource the right type of tasks. Number 3, do collabs. Now, collaborations are very important, and they've been critical to a lot of people, to a lot of influencers' success out there on social media. We all know that for if you take singers, for instance, they do duets or they do featurings. You can replicate the same approach also when it comes to social media influencing. So trying to find an influencer or 2 or 3 who are in sync with your brain, who are in sync with your passions, who are in sync with your audience, right? Because the quickest and easiest way at the end of the day to grow your audience on social media is by working with a bigger influencer than you. Now, some bigger influencers might sort of like slight you and look you down because you're still small. So I would suggest trying to find people who have the same the same amount of followers with you, like you rather, and trying to collaborate with them. For instance, if you're on YouTube and you have 1,000 subs or 10,000 subs and you want to increase your follower base in a particular niche, reach out to other creators who have a similar kind of subscribers, right? And try to do collabs with them. Number 4, be consistent. Consistency is key, right? Because you're trying to build a follower base. You want your followers to be loyal. If you want them to be loyal to you, the first thing is for you to be loyal to them. And the best way to create that loyalty loop, that feedback loop on a constant basis, is by producing consistent content, right? Stick to a schedule. If you publish 3 times a week, stick to that. At the same time, people will start expecting your content, and the more consistent you are, the larger your follower base will grow, right? It is very important also to understand that if you want people to subscribe to you, to subscribe to your YouTube channel, or follow you on Facebook, or follow you on Instagram, you're asking them to carve out some time for you. So what are you ready to do for them? How are you going to reciprocate here? The reciprocation here is by being consistent, right? The best approach here when it comes to reciprocation vis-a-vis your followers is to be consistent. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm very happy to have you today. We're still having a wonderful conversation around social media influencers, and now I'm giving you a quick tutorial on how to be the best spokespersons brains are fighting for. If you love the clarity and the quality of the content so far, I would ask you to subscribe to our channel, to smash that notification bell so that you are informed whenever we drop a new gem. We do so every single day, rain or shine. Share this content, comment below, let us know your experience when it comes to social media influencing. Are you an influencer yourself? Let us know, and also like it. We need all the love we can get. Number 5, analyze the data. You want to constantly track down your data. Now, no matter which platform you're currently in, you certainly have access to the backdoor tools, right? The analytics, whether it is on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, you have access to the back chambers where you can dig into the data, understand what works, what doesn't work. You want to find out what kind of content resonates with your audience, right? What do they look for? And don't be scared about asking for feedback. What I'm trying to say here is you can have some intelligence on your own channel, but also reach out to your followers, right? If you want to tweak things around, ask for their opinion. You can do surveys, or you can do Instagram posts, for example, and by asking your followers what they would like to see, what kind of pictures, what kind of content, what kind of videos they would like to see from you. And it is very important because the bottom line here is, again, going back to what I said earlier, having this feedback loop, having this loyalty loop, engaging with the audience on a constant basis. They know what to expect, and you know what to expect from them. Number 6, find your niche, right? If you want to become a great social media influencer, you need to have a niche. You need to carve out the section of the populace that would resonate with your content. Now, a lot of folks sometimes trying to embrace several niches at once. That's a bad strategy. If you start, you need to establish your base with a smaller crowd, and once you're big, once you start growing, you can enlarge, you can expand your followership, right? So you want to find your niche. It is very important to, for instance, let's say you want to do a niche. By definition is very narrow. So if you write down, oh, my niche is travel, or my niche is makeup or reviews, this is a broad category here. So you want to narrow the niche down to something specific. For instance, let's say you want to do reviews, right? You can say, I'm doing smartphone reviews, or I'm doing car reviews, or I'm doing you name it, right? But the narrower the category, the better. That's what a niche really is. Another thing you need to do also, and that's number 7, you need to set yourself apart. Now, you need to do something unique, something crazy sometimes. Why not, right? As long as it's not controversial, it's not offensive to people, as long as you are being creative and you're doing it in a proper way, that's fantastic, right? So you want to set yourself apart, because we live in a world nowadays where viewers and people are bombarded with millions of images and videos and articles per second, or per minute, or per hour. There, consequently, the attention span has shrunk. People have nowadays an attention span that averages about 1 minute or less, according to a report by McKinsey not long ago. So if you want to tap into people's collective mindsets, you gotta set yourself apart. All right. So if whatever you're trying to do, whatever niche you're trying to get into, and tell yourself that there might be already someone out there who is better than you, who has been having success for the last 3, 4, 5 years. So for you to really grab a little bit of their market share, you need to do something extraordinary. All right. So be different than your competition. That's the bottom line here. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm still having a conversation with you around social media influencer tutorials, and I'm just breaking down to you how to be the best spokesperson brains are fighting for when it comes to social media influencing. Number 8, you want to create a social media strategy. Now, what I'm trying to say here is you need to have a plan. If you want to succeed on Facebook, for instance, you need to have a plan to succeed on Facebook. If you want to succeed on Instagram, you need to have a plan to succeed on Instagram, and so on and so forth. You can't just choose a platform and hope things will just happen, right? Success, as one very wise person has said in the past, success is the combination of of opportunity and luck. Opportunity and preparation, I can't remember. But what I'm trying to say here is that you can't leave things to chance. You got to really prepare. You got to plan first. So you need to have a vision. So for instance, on Facebook, one of the things you want to do is to schedule your post, for instance, 3 months in advance or 1 month in advance, right? So if something happens, for instance, you're not available, your post will continue to publish automatically. Same thing for YouTube, same thing for Instagram, right? And this comes only if you have planned things in advance, if you have a vision. So you need to have a social media strategy in terms of publishing, in terms of reaching out to your audience, in terms of visiting other influencers' pages, in terms of improving your brand constantly, right? Improving your content, improving your publishing approach. Number 9, you want to promote. Promotion is key. And I love there is something in marketing called the Pareto principle. Pareto principle stands for 20-80. So 20% of clients usually will account for 80% of a business's revenue. The same Pareto approach applies here when it comes to social media influencing. 20% of your time should be spent on content creation and 80% to promotion. Because the bottom line here is that if you keep promoting, if you keep producing, posting videos or articles or pictures and nobody knows about you, chances are you're just going to dwell in obscurity, in social media obscurity, in offline and online obscurity. And that's very frustrating, right? I mean, think about it. You spend hours doing stuff. You spend hours working hard, sometimes in the wee hours, and you are very happy with your product, and you post it, and you probably have 1 view or 1 like. And that could be very frustrating. So you need to spend 4 times as much time on advertising as you spend on creating. Number 10, and this is the last but not the least, engage with your audience. Remember, you need to have a community. Those people who are following you are real people. They're people. All right. There are men and women, there are boys and girls who take their time to spend with you virtually, to spend their time with you on a digital platform. So your role is to give them back. Your role is to follow them back, to engage in a conversation, to reply to comment, to like their comment. Whatever you need to do, you need to really engage with your audience. The bottom line here is that being an influencer doesn't mean you're the boss. Being an influencer doesn't mean you're a leader and the pack should follow you. No, this is a community. Of course, you need to have a spokesperson. You need to have someone to represent the group. But the bottom line is there's no such a thing as hierarchy here. So if somebody is following you, follow them back. Somebody is liking your content, like their content also if they are a creator. All right. So this is it, folks. I hope you found value in this show. And if you did, please consider subscribing to our channel again if you haven't done so already, and turn on the notification bell, share, like, comment below. We really appreciate it. And let me just give you a recap here. To be the best spokesperson brands fight for, select your platforms properly, create impeccable content, do collabs, be consistent, analyze the data, find your niche, set yourself apart and do something unique. Create a social media strategy, promote and engage with your audience. All right. I will talk to you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.